Hey, what's happening, y'all? So Matt here with another random project. Just to tell the story of what happened, a weekend or two ago, my wife and I went back to the West Texas area for a funeral, and we ended up staying with my dad for a couple days. And as I was getting my clothes in and out of the closet, I noticed this guy sitting back there. So this happens to be my very first guitar. Those of you who have watched a lot of my content might have heard the story of how I first got introduced to guitar back in high school. I was hanging out with my buddy Brandon Darby, and he had this beat up old Squire that was just sitting there, and I made a comment on it because I've been playing trumpet and just musically inclined, and he handed it to me and taught me how to play Sweet Dreams Are Made of These, the Manson version, and he went to bed. Woke up the next morning and I was still there working on it. The instrument just captured me. And so then I went home and just begged my parents for a guitar, and they purchased this for me as part of the starter kit. So this is an Ibanez GIO, and it came with a gig bag and an amp. Altogether, it was probably $200-300 for the whole thing. And those of you who have been familiar with Ibanez, the GIO series, as far as beginner guitars are concerned, is actually really good for entry level. Just looking at this thing, this guitar is probably at least 20 years old and has held up surprisingly well. I mean, no real issues. There's a couple chips that I've been working on. You can see the finish is pretty grubby because I've been working on it. So there's a chip there and a chip there that I've been working on filling and getting that all evened out. Once I get that completely filled, then I can start, wet sanding it back and polishing it up and making it all blend in. But yeah, I mean, the fingerboard feels nice. The fretwork is pretty solid. There's some guitars today that you can purchase for much more than what this cost that don't feel this good. Now, it does have some issues. There are some tuning stability issues. The pickups can be kind of noisy at times. There are things that could make this guitar better. It is definitely a beginner instrument as it comes. But it did get me thinking that if this instrument has held up so well, and there's some things as far as instrument repair that I've been wanting to try. So there are some things that I want to adjust on this and see if I can take this from a $150-200 beginner instrument to a really nice professional quality instrument. So that's going to be my experiment over the next few weeks, is to just dive in and see what I can do as far as fixing this bad boy up. But before we did that, I thought it'd be a good idea to just hear how it sounds as is. This will be an interesting little experiment, but let's quit wasting time here and go ahead and dive in and check out some tones. Let's start with some clean tones, starting with the neck pickup. More clean tones, neck and middle. Clean tones, middle pickup. Alright, clean tones, middle and bridge. Clean tones, bridge pickup. Light crunch tone, neck pickup. Light crunch tone, neck and middle. Light crunch tone, middle. Light crunch tones, bridge and middle. Light crunch tone, bridge pickup. Again, metal tones, neck pickup. Again, metal tones, neck and middle. Again, metal tones, middle pickup. Again, metal tones, bridge and middle. I gain metal tones, bridge pickup. Okay, so now that we have gotten to listen to some different tones, let's talk a little bit about what actually ended up happening with this particular project. So I ended up not doing a refret. Uh, I started looking at it and I did a refret job on my father-in-law's guitar, and honestly, it just wasn't worth it. Um, it I can see why that's such an expensive repair. It's a lot of work, it's very intensive, and the odds of chipping and breaking and things like that are just extremely high. So I elected not to do that and instead just did a fret level. So leveled all the frets and recrowned them and polished them back up and double checked like the rounding and any fret sprout, anything like that. Fixed all of that up and cleaned the fingerboard, put some wax on it, get it nice and dark, did all that kind of stuff just to kind of, take care of the fretwork. Um, as far as new parts, we got a new strap, and we got new pickups. These are the Kirk Hammett Signature EMGs. They came in a really nice perloid pickguard already mounted. However, things did not line up with this body and that pickguard. The pickguard is built for Strat style, um, and this is similar to a Strat style guitar, but it not actually a Strat. It's not a Fender. It's not a Squier. It's an Ibanez, and so things didn't line up. There was an issue where the PCB board that these two pots are built into in the pickguard that it came with was coming up. I would have had to route out some of the body for that to fit. Um, it was coming up over the edge here and up in here. It was just not working good. So what I ended up doing, because I didn't really like that plain white pickguard that was on here, it was just a little too simple. So we sticker bombed that white pickguard so that way all the holes for the most part would stay the same, um, which because of the way the electronics fit in the cavity, that didn't exactly happen. I still had to drill a couple holes, but for the most part, they all fit. We also sticker bombed the back plate covering the tremolo cavity. So that's all cool. That was a thing, and that was an experiment too, because we sticker bombed it, and then I was trying to find a way to seal it. So at first I tried sealing it with Mod Podge, um, and then what I was reading said it was an extremely long cure time. I got kind of impatient and got like halfway through the cure time and decided to try to wet sand it, and the whole thing ended up peeling up. So it was just bleh. So I peeled the whole thing off and then sprayed it with some vinyl sealer. And that seemed to do the trick. So that got us into good shape with that, where everything's sealed. It's pretty stable. I've been playing it off and on, and I'm not noticing much damage or anything like that. Um, so that's all good. We did replace the bridge. So it's got a brand new Gotoh Wilkinson bridge in there with a nice fat trem block. We replaced the tuners with my favorite tuning machines, the Diodario auto trim locking tuners. Love these things. We also replaced the nut. That was a bit of a trial. um, so I ordered the closest thing I could to my nut measurements off of Sweetwater, and I wanted a really nice Graphtec tusk nut. Um, But then when trying to get it in, it didn't quite fit. So I was sanding it back and doing everything I could to try and get it to fit properly. and it wasn't working. By the time I got it sanded to where it was kind of fitting in the slot, then the radius wasn't right. So I had to kind of do some workarounds. I'm glad this was just a project guitar and not something for a client, because what I ended up doing to make this work and be playable and feel nice is not pretty and would not pass muster for a client. But yeah, that's what this one was for, was to try some of those things that I don't do a whole lot. Also put in new string trees, the Graphtec string trees. So yeah, this is pretty much a brand new guitar with the EMGs. So that was another thing. So with the EMGs, active pickups, the pickups that were in this before were passive, and with the cavity size, there wasn't really room for the battery. So I did end up routing out a space to install a battery pack. That was pretty scary, routing out on an already finished guitar. So I just kind of taped around where I was going to be routing out and used a razor blade to score the finish around that place following the routing template. And got her done. I did end up causing some damage going too far with the router. The bit was kind of getting caught on the template. I had to fill and then fix the finish on that, which sucked, but got it done. We now have a nice functional battery pack. There's some different things, like because we put a different tremolo block on there, the holes on the back plate don't exactly line up with the through holes on the tremolo block. The result being that I now have to take that back plate off if I'm going to change strings. So there's different things like that that make this, maybe a little bit less than ideal, or at least not out of factory type of quality. But it feels good, sounds good, it plays well. So Clean Tones neck pickup. Clean Tones neck and middle. Clean Tones middle pickup. Clean Tones middle and bridge. Clean Tones bridge pickup. Crunch tones on bridge pickup. Crunch tones, bridge and middle. Crunch tones, middle pickup. Crunch tones, neck and middle. Crunch tones, neck pickup. I gain metal tones, bridge pickup. I gain metal tones, bridge and middle. I gain metal tones, middle pickup. I gain metal tones, neck and middle. I gain metal tones, neck pickup. So, I mean, in general, it was a cool project. It was a fun project, and I got a cool guitar in the collection now. It's something that I didn't have before. Something with active single coils is something that I've seen, but don't have anything like that in the collection. So now we do, and it's got a cool tone, and I like being able to, hit that bridge pickup with the humbucker tone and be able to let it rip and get some chunky metal stuff, and then, throw it up into fourth position and back off the gain a little bit and get some of those chimey, spanky, kind of stratish type tones. That kind of versatility is really cool. So this is definitely an instrument I'm glad to have back in the collection instead of just sitting in a closet. But as far as the practicality of taking a beginner instrument and retrofitting it to be more in the prosumer kind of range, it's doable. I don't think it saves you any money. If anything, it just costs you the same amount of money and adds the cost of time. Um, so it's a cool thing to do, kind of like with the building our own guitars projects, right? It's a cool thing to do. It's a fun thing to do if you like this sort of thing, and it's a cool experience, and you learn a lot, and you get to try out some different things, which is awesome. But economically, you'd be better served spending, maybe an extra $100-200 than what I spent on this altogether to get a nice prosumer tier instrument. But there's also the sentimental factor. This is my first guitar ever, and it's, as you develop in your skills and you want better instruments, sometimes it sucks to leave that beginner instrument just sitting in a closet. It's cool to know that there are options and that you can do some stuff to revive that old instrument and keep it working, keep it going in the collection and make it worth busting out from time to time. But that is about the end of this video. I've got to go take care of Patrick. He just woke up. But thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys, and have a good one.